Yeah, I love her. But how the hell do you do it? I mean, it's impossible to stay down with this bike. You don't have to do anything. You just have to give it gas. And then she does the rest. Wheelie control, crazy. And the thing that drives me nuts is the fact that wheelies are illegal. But to have wheelie control, I mean a system that keeps you on the wheel. No, it's a calm thing. Yeah, I'm telling you. Welcome back to the channel and to this new review. As you saw from the title and cover, let's dive in and try it out. The Speed Triple 1200 RS 2025. What a triumph, Mom. Hello, what a triumph, Mom. She left us for these test days. I chased Triumph. You should know, for several months to bring it to the channel. And today I'm finally very happy to be able to tell you about it. In this review video, we'll explore its strengths and weaknesses. Let's put on our helmets and find out. So let's get started as usual. From comfort to driving, how is it on board this Speed 1002 RS? That Mom Triumph left us for a few days in test, I can tell you. Comfortable, well-padded saddle, a slight spoon, a bit to want to form this hollow which perfectly accommodates the rider's buttocks. But above all, triangulation. Saddle, handlebars, footrests, in my opinion, perfect. The footrests are slightly set back. The handlebar, which has been widened by 10 millimeters and raised by 8. It doesn't load us too much on the front, but it doesn't make us stay too far back either. However, we can easily load the front end of the Speed. And the tank is nice, slim, in the leg area so that it can be well encircled, both on the straight, but especially to have good support when leaning into a bend. Today, Rome gives us a bit of coolness. It's 77 degrees. And I must say that on board the Speed, I don't feel the heat at all. It's definitely a cool bike that breathes well even in traffic. It doesn't heat up much, to the point of bothering us, and in my opinion, she could really be the perfect travel companion. For all those who like the naked genre and don't want to switch to a sport touring or a touring, and who occasionally shoot for a few more kilometers with a few bags in tow. I'm telling you this because I've been testing it for a few days now and I've done some kilometers and I never get off tired. It can easily switch between two contrasting personalities like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. From the overbearing Slaughter, with 180 horses, lots of onboard electronics, which we will talk about very soon. So up to 3,000, 4,000 revolutions, third gear, and you go calmly. Just like I'm doing right now for the curves of Castel Gandolfo. For the record, I also inform you that I don't feel any particular on-off. And the absolutely most fun thing about this Speed is precisely the crazy torque. The Triumph's 3-cylinder. It manages to make me smile every damn time.
Beautiful, gritty, energetic, ready.
Above all, it turns on a dime and manages to get you out of the curves in an instant. And at this point, guys, I'd say let's move on to the next topic of this review, which is exactly the engine component that has been updated in this 2025. In fact, the bike in general doesn't present that many differences compared to the 2024 model, but those differences that are there are substantial. The 3-cylinder, in fact, has been updated. We're talking about 3, coincidentally enough, horses, and 3 more Newton meters of torque. Despite, however, it respects the latest anti-pollution regulations. So we move on to have 183 horsepower with 128 Newton meters of torque. As I mentioned before, there are no particular on-offs. But above all, it's been a long time since I've experienced such a smooth shift. It's so smooth that I'm almost afraid to click it. And if you're used to harder changes, this seems really fragile to me. Or what if it really isn't? Be careful! It's just a feeling I have under my foot. Oh my guys, when I tell you the engine is nice, trust me, it's really super fun. 128 NNs may seem small, but it's comparable to the torque output of the KTM Super Duke from a few years ago, which was around 12-13 kgm. Let's discuss it. That one is a twin-cylinder, while this one is a 3-cylinder. In my opinion, the 3-cylinder is much more usable compared to a KTM. Then aesthetic tastes are another thing. Everyone has their own thoughts on that. But if I had to choose one of the two motorcycles, currently I would probably prefer this one. Another thing then that really surprised me a lot. On board this speed is the electronics that manage gradually to become more and more refined. I'm not saying this randomly, but why this 2025 model? One of the other small but significant differences compared to the previous version are these. Exactly the full Olin semi-active suspensions, both at the front and at the rear, fully configurable except for the spring preload from the motorcycle's dashboard. And at this point, since we have introduced the topic of cycling, talking about the suspensions of the relative update from 2024 to 2025, I would say to complete the chapter by telling you a little bit, how does it handle the curve? Paired with this engine, and it has everything important cycling system that Triumph has made available to us. Meanwhile, big applause to Triumph for the choice and combination of the braking system. Discs, clamps, pump pads, and braided hoses. Probably if I bought this bike, I wouldn't change them one bit. And the really nice thing is that all this electronics perfectly matches with the rider, giving him the opportunity to tailor the bike to himself. And I tell you this, because we have a situation of engine mappings and suspension mappings. I'll explain better while we tackle the roundabout with a bit of traffic. When the engine mappings change, the suspension settings also change. And up to here, nothing strange. Other bikes from other brands do it too. The cool thing, however, is the fact that until one puts COM engine mappings, so up to the road. For example, she does everything practically automatically, in the sense she manages on her own. Then, if you want, you can enter the suspension menu and modify based on what you feel while driving. And this is a choice made to accommodate the user who doesn't understand a thing about suspensions. On the other hand, though, if we switch to an engine mapping, like the one I'm currently on, which is a Sport, the suspensions become classically adjustable. That is, by entering the suspension submenu, we will be able to intervene
on the classic parameters that we find
on all high-end manual suspensions, that is, compression and extension. This is because, as I was telling you, the spring preload is still done manually. Obviously, then in the user and maintenance manual, everything is written down to the smallest detail and they explain how. If you intervene on a parameter, the bike will respond. Then there is always the excellent Triumph service available. Getting back to us, she really behaves very well in the curve. You set the trajectory and then she does the rest, maintaining it and giving you confidence. With the aids she has on board to do it to the best of your ability. And then when you get out, gas! And you can pull it up with extreme ease. One of the things that made her talked about the most at the time of release was the wheelie control. I, for example, who can do a little wheelie, but only with gas and never with the clutch. Because objectively, I'm not good with it. I look like Top Rack. It's really exaggerated. Seriously, in first gear, if you accelerate, it pops a wheelie and stays up. It doesn't move forward at all. Perfect, precise. Obviously, do these tests on the track. It's a shame to have worn out tires on this speed in the test. The bike has around 4,000 kilometers on it. This is a detail I don't usually provide in reviews. But with today's luck of having a test ride bike from a dealer, we also have a way to see the actual duration of the standard tires that is attested. Guys, around 4,000 kilometers. Personally, on one of these, since you often ask me when you contact me on my Instagram page, Green Arrow 19, I recommend the Michelin Power Grand Prix 2. A tire that would be perfect to put on this, as it's 50% road, 50% track compound. So the central part is stiffer, allowing you to cover more miles. And the side part is softer to give you a good grip when you're down. With your ear to the ground, let's open one of the last chapters of this review, the electronics. I've already talked to you about the Olin semi-active suspensions. I explained how you can intervene and how Triumph decided to manage the suspensions. On the different engine mappings, the information I can add is as follows. Standard up and down electronic shift, standard cruise control, ABS, cornering, keyless system for keys. And as I was telling you before, I control the wheelie, even the gear change, guys, but this stuff is devastating. You have to get used to it, huh? Because it's easy that she'll change more fronts than you should. Let's go. But how do you do it? It's impossible to stay down with this bike. You just give it gas and it does the rest. Wheelie control is insane. It drives me crazy that wheelies are illegal, but having a system that keeps you on the wheel? No! Is that a calm thing? Anyway, well done, Triumph. Perfect, just like her. It was undoubtedly one of the most anticipated motorcycles this spring. In fact, that's when Triumph decided to release this speed onto the market and get it into dealerships. Sales, of course, have not been lacking. However, unlike the 2024 model, there has been a price increase, perhaps due to a bit more technology, which personally I didn't find disgusting. Ultimately, the increase was quite contained, all things considered. Compared, in fact, to the 2024 model, the increase from 2025 is about 1,300 euros, going from 18,995 to 22,995. In my opinion, it's money well spent, and in the end, for a person who is about to spend 20,000 euros. All this difference, objectively, they don't make it. But what you take home definitely has a different and better quality and usability compared to the 2024 model. So we come to the end of this test drive as well. I think I've told you everything. If I missed any little detail, I apologize, but I was quite taken with driving this speed. I thank Triumph again, specifically the Triumph Rome Gras dealership who provided me with the bike for these days. And I invite you, if you also want to try it, to go to their dealership, because is it still available for a test drive? Green arrow here. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the review, and leave a like and comment below to let me know your thoughts about the bike we tried today. We, as usual, will see you in the next video. Stay safe and always full throttle.